the book of Esther from chapter number 1 up to number 4, there are 4 points that if we can put in practice, they can really, really help us. The first lesson is that Esther was an asset. An asset is a useful or valuable thing or person. When there was a need for a queen in the palace during that time where King Caesar had divorced Vashti, many girls were collected from the whole province. The king was supposed to select one of them who had pleased him in order to make her the queen at that particular time. Amongst all these other girls, Esther stood tall, and she was chosen to replace the queen Vashti. There was also a conspiracy to assassinate the king. Esther managed to save the life of the king. There was a conspiracy that the Jews were supposed to be wiped out of the face of the earth. Then Esther again put her life in danger to rescue the Jew family during that time. And so Esther was an asset. And it is my prayer to us that may we find it in our hearts to be assets and to be useful instruments at any place the Lord has placed you. The second thing is that Esther was an obedient girl. To be obedient is to comply willingly with an order or a request. Esther chapter 2 from verse 19 to number 20. The Bible says, when the virgins were assembled a second time, Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate. But Esther had kept secret her family background and nationality, just as Mordecai had told her to do. For she continued to follow Mordecai's instructions as she had done when he was bringing her up. For you to be called an obedient person, you must be somebody who can willingly obey without being forced. And that was part of Esther's life. Our salvation is a call from life of disobedience into obedience. Therefore, we have no choice but to make sure that we are living by the instructions that the Lord has commanded us. The third thing that I learned from the book of Esther is that Esther was a loyal girl. And loyalty is faithfulness to obligations or commitments. And in the book of Esther, chapter number 2, verse 21 to 23, the Bible says, during the time Mordecai was sitting at the king's gate, Bigana and Teresh, two of the king's officers who guarded the doorway, became angry and conspired to assassinate King Caesar. But Mordecai found out about the plot and told Queen Esther, who in turn reported to the king, giving credit to Mordecai. And when the report was investigated and found to be true, the two officials were hanged on gallows. The Bible says there was a conspiracy to assassinate the king. And during that time, Esther was the queen. Remember, she was not a girl of that nation. But you see, immediately she was married to the king, she knew her responsibility as the wife. she practiced loyalty to an extent of defending the king. She saved the life of her husband. This was an act of loyalty. We have to be loyal, and we should know that we have obligation to be loyal wherever the Lord has placed us. The last thing that I want to share with us is that Esther had faith in God. Faith is the confidence over things hoped for and assurance over things we do not see. Esther chapter number 4, verse number 15. The Bible says, "Then Esther sent this reply to Mordecai. Go gather together all the Jews who are in Susa and fast for me. Do not eat or drink for 3 days, night or day. I and my maids will fast as you do. When this is done, I will go to the king, even it is against the law, and if I perish, I perish." So Mordecai went away and carried out all of Esther's instructions. It caused somebody who has faith in God to fast for other people. If she had never known God, then she could not have declared a fast to all the Jews, and even for her and all her mates. It is good to have faith in God, because in each and every situation that we go through, God is also in the midst of it. It is good to seek the attention of God when things become tough.